And we are live, guys. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. We are going to discuss some really cool things today, and it's going to be about the 80-hour work week. It's the number one thing on this channel that we discuss, and the reason why is because the secret is found in your daily schedule. It always will be, and let's get right into it. So first of all, there's two different types of categories of men who are watching my channel. If women are watching my channel, nice to see you, but preferably it's mostly men. And the reason why is because we're all about the grind. Men are designed to improve the now, and women are designed to enjoy the now, or at least the women that we want to take upon ourselves in the future, right? And so I'm talking to you guys, men, about what needs to get done in order for you to achieve the amount of success and the greatness that you desire in this life. And there's two different categories of men. The number one type of man is the guy who is still working normal jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. Some guys might do that for the rest of their lives, but basically, the one camp are those that have normal jobs working for other guys. And then on the other hand, the other category are those that have started their own business. No matter what, effort is going to be required in order for you to achieve the huge dreams that you have for yourself. The more effort you put in, the luckier you get, right? The more I practice, the luckier I get. It's a beautiful saying, and it is true. In many ways, I want to make a video in the future about billionaires and millionaires who say that there's so much luck involved in terms of success. Yes, of course, but that is something that comes after the effort, not before, although some rich people might even say that. First it's luck, and then you have effort. And I think it's the other way around, because no matter who you are in the world, you can and will succeed long term if you actually put in the effort and the obsession in order for you to get there. So if we have these two camps, we need to now understand what's missing in order for you to succeed. It's the effort, okay? And it's the 80-hour work week. The people that have normal jobs, very often they're not going to have a job that gives them the opportunity to work 80 hours. You're going to need to have a second and maybe even a third job in order for you to make it happen. In a business, you can work the 80-hour work week automatically simply because you know what's next to work on in your business, hopefully. If you have a coach, you definitely know what's next in your business. And then it's just about increasing the volume continuously until you succeed. So, whichever camp you are in right now, listen to this with a pinch of salt, because we're going to discuss the benefits of why the 80-hour work week is there despite time being the most finite resource. Okay? All the rich people in the world, the only thing that they want is freedom. The only thing that they want is time. Really. The time to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. I'm not financially rich. I've been time rich since 2016. That's when I quit my last full-time job. And there have been times where I've wondered, should I actually go and get a full-time job? And even some recent. And the reason why is because I'm, wondering what the market would actually pay me at this point in time after having worked for myself for the last 10 plus years. And they might not pay me very much because they don't know what experience I come with. And there's a huge gap in my resume, right? Other than the businesses that I've created and all the experience that I've gotten. But if you look at it from the perspective of a massive work ethic that is needed in order for you to succeed, I understand that what is required to succeed in business is the 80-hour work week. For the longest time, I did not do it. And sometimes it's been up and down of doing it. And this is why I'm still where I'm at, not in a multi-million-dollar mansion, because I know what I've chosen not to do. But you're here not to hear about my comfortable lifestyle in terms of having a wife and 3 kids and not having had to work. You're here to make money because you want to learn from the mistakes that I've made of not prioritizing money over time. I've had lots of time because I've had businesses that were capable of paying for my bills. And the businesses sometimes were passive income and sometimes were active income. Either way, I somehow managed to simply work 20, 30, 40 hours a week and have lots of time with my family continuously, but on my schedule. I choose the times that I work. And it has been a blessing and a curse. And I want you to set up your life in such a way that it's a massive blessing that you're putting in the work because you know exactly what you're going to get on the other side. If I had done things differently, I would have done things very differently. I would have actually continued to do the 80-hour work week, for probably postponed getting married for a while, probably postponed getting kids for a while, in order for me to set up my life in the way that I desire to have it with money and time. I've had lots of time. I've been middle class when it comes to income. I want to set you guys up to have lots of time and lots of money. It gives you tons of options, but more importantly, it allows you to work on the most amazing things that you can possibly work on later parts of your business cycle. What do I mean by that? There are things that I would want to do for you guys and for the world at large right now that I simply can't do because the financing is not there. Okay? The mind is willing, but the funding isn't present, you know? And imagine the speed at what I could go at if I had set up my life in a different way. Have I enjoyed my life? Yeah, in many ways too good. Okay? It's been too nice. And now I'm at an inflection point where I'm like, I want to get this thing rolling. I want to make people successful. And the more successful you make other people, the more successful you become financially and otherwise. Okay? So, going back to the 80-hour work week, why should you do that? When again, time is your most finite resource. You want to be compounding luck. The more I practice, the luckier I get. So if you practice 1 hour a week, you're going to get the luck of 1, okay? If you practice 80 hours a week, you're going to get the luck of 80, meaning the luck will compound and you're going to get massively better results than someone who puts in 1 hour versus someone who puts in the 80 hours. Why? Because you learn so much more and so much faster. More importantly, you learn the things that you should not be doing. That's the cool part about the 80-hour work week. The more effort you put in with the 80-hour work week, the more you're failing. The ones that fail the most are the ones that succeed the most long term. You are the one failing the most short term out of everyone. That's why it's embarrassing sometimes. And you suck at the thing that you start out with, but then over time you get so much better than everyone else because you've got the hours under your belt and they do not. That's the difference maker. And so that's the principle. The more you practice, the luckier you get, and you need the 80-hour work week to do that. The number one reason for business failure is work ethic. People will continuously tell you that it is money, that there's a lack of funds, and that's why they had to put the business down. No, it's never a lack of funds if the founder is actually out there selling. If you sell something and you're getting more paid than you are spending to get that customer, and you have a nice, profit margin buffer on it, then you by default are going to succeed in business. Like, it's impossible for you to fail in business if you have a product that someone else wants, and you figure that out very quickly, by the way, if you do the 80-hour work week. You ask enough people, you'll find out that no one wants this product at all. They don't even want it when I give it out for free. Okay? Then you're probably in the wrong business, or you must learn how to talk to people, right? And over time, you will begin to learn how to talk to people because you're investing 80 hours into it every single freaking week. And so you get better and better and better, and you figure out within weeks, maybe months, of understanding that this is a product that will not work. Then you've tried it, you failed at it, fantastic, get rid of it, move on to the next thing fast until you find the thing that actually does work. And statistically, it's on the 6th business, or more importantly, the 6th product or service that an entrepreneur gets his hands on, that he eventually succeeds financially. And actually, but the 80-hour work week is still required. So if you've put in the work, you are selling the product with the profit margin, and you've begun to understand that because you failed a lot in your past because of the 80-hour work week. Now you're making money. If you're making money, that means that you are able to hire people. If you hire people and train them well, then it's just, again, a profit margin on those people. Are you making more money on this person than you have to spend on them? And that continues continuously and exponentially, most probably, if you're doing things the right way, until you have a massive team and you have a business now that is massively profitable. You have to learn to replace yourself. You do that through systems and people. And if each of those people in your business are making more money coming in than you are spending keeping them there, that means your business is functional. That means business is going to be an inevitable success for you no matter what you do, as long as you do the 80-hour work week. I'm going back to the principle to help you guys understand this, that there is no failure in business if you do the 80-hour work week. The only way that you can fail is by not doing the 80-hour work week, which is the reason why most people fail. They don't do the work that's needed to get done in their business. And it's not that they're working on the wrong things. They're just simply not working. Okay? So the moment you can figure this one out, and I prefer that you figure this one out before you become a business owner, life is going to become so much easier for you. And if it's easier for you, that means that you can go back and help other people that struggled more than you did, either by hiring them and training them to become successful business owners through your business, or by coaching new guys and mentoring them. Preferably they'll be inside of your business, right? Unless you are a coach. And that's how you get success. That's how you get massive success. In fact, all CEOs, all founders at some point become coaches themselves. That's the only thing that they do all day long. They have someone come to them with the problem, and then they're trying to coach this person to understand the problem themselves and solve it themselves, so that they don't have to come to you, right, the CEO founder, again, ever, about that same problem. Because now they've learned to solve it, because you helped them to solve it on their own with your direction. And now they're able to do that and duplicate that inside of your business because you did it once. You created a repeatable process for it. And now someone else goes and does what needs to get done, and you all get the benefit from it, and you get a nice small percentage of a massive multi-million-dollar business that is operating on its own, even if you're there or not. Again, it comes back to the 80-hour work week. If you don't have experience in business, and how do you gain experience? Racking up the hours. If you don't understand how it works, you can't train other people. And honestly, very often those are the most successful businesses. Guys that understand that the entire business model that I need to figure out is understanding the money aspect of it and then replacing me with people that are better than me. That's it. If I understand how the money works, I learn how to sell so that the money can pay for people that are better than me at the craft. Then I can train a sales team and a sales leader, a sales manager to take over for mentoring these salespeople. And then I make sure that the product is absolutely fantastic. I'm no longer required. And the only thing that I will be required to do, if I'm required at all, is to mentor the people that are on my team, mentoring the leaders. That's it. And then you can spend your time however you want, whenever you want, and then you just bring in the people when there's problems that they are unable to solve. And you bring them in and try to figure it out yourself, but you also teach them to figure it out themselves as well. Anyway, just kind of helping you guys to understand that this is what you do with your time as a successful business owner. And so time is a finite resource. It's the most precious thing that you have. And that's why you should be investing it in people. The more you invest in people, the more return you get from people. And the more return you get from other people, the more free you are because of the return. You planted a seed in all of those individuals, and you harvest a return. This is how it is to hire people. It's like, I have no idea if this person's going to work out. I'm hiring with blind faith that they're actually going to succeed. And out of 20 people that are interviewed, I chose one. I hope I got really lucky with this one. Over time, the more time you invest, the more you understand who's the right person, who's not the right person. Again, coming back to the 80-hour work week of doing the work that's necessary. The magic is found in the work that you're avoiding. Most people want to avoid going through the massive interview process and maybe even hiring AI to do it. But the more shortcuts you take in hiring people, the more you're going to suffer, and your business is going to suffer because of the shortcuts. But if you've put in the massive amount of work ethic, that's what gives you the competitive edge over all of your competition and everyone around you. This is the power of being a successful business owner, is understanding how all of these nitty-gritty things work. And you're not going to know how all these things work if you haven't put in the work initially. The vast majority of the time should be spent on the money side, understanding how the financials of your business works, and making sure that that's profitable and that's working, and that there is a market out there for your product, and understanding the ideal client, et cetera, and how much you should charge, which should be probably more than what you are charging if you already have a business. Normally, that's how it is. And then understanding the people part of it. Not only your clients, but understanding your teammates, okay? Your employees, and most importantly, the leadership team. If you have a fantastic leadership team who's better than you at what they do, then you're no longer needed. That's what gives you back the most precious and finite resource that exists in your life, which is your time. How long do you want to take before you arrive at that point in time where you have outsourced everything in your business to the point where they are doing a better job than if you were to be there? How long does it take for you to get to that point? The longer it takes, the longer your time has elapsed. And so you want to get this done early on in your life, as fast as possible, so that you get to the coaching, mentorship part of life in your business, whatever product or service you're selling, so that you have the rest of your life simply being a coach or a mentor for life, because that's what you're going to be. So in many ways, I've taken somewhat of a shortcut. I did have multiple businesses, a lot of them failures, a lot of them worked out too. But I came to the point where I was like, I just want to help other people directly, because I want to create leaders, I want to create families, and I want to help people with their individual lives. In many ways, you can't really do that in your own business as such. If you've got employees, they want to separate private life and business life. I'm the person who wants to integrate those two, where because your private life very often makes up your business success or failure. If you're succeeding in your private life, you're most likely going to succeed in your business life, because it's a reflection of your personal life. In the same way that your business finances are going to be a reflection of your personal finances, it's the same thing with your personal life. And in regular business, I didn't feel that could happen effectively. And I massively enjoy talking to people about their personal lives and getting that fixed, because it's the initial part of one's journey. And if you don't figure out the personal life and the private life properly as your foundation, then most of the things you're going to try throughout your life is going to be a waste, because you're going to start and quit, and you're going to think that it's the business or the product or the clients or whatever's fault, when it's completely your fault and your private life's fault. You didn't sort yourself out first, right? The massive work ethic, okay, going back to the aspect of the number one reason for business failure being work ethic, when you think about it, it actually isn't even work ethic that's the problem. Now we're getting to the advanced aspect of this. I'm not putting in the 80 hours. Okay, why are you not putting in the 80 hours? Okay, it's like you join a coaching program and they have all these things that they want you to do, and then after 3 months you haven't done anything. Okay, maybe you guys relate to this, and then you kind of feel that it wasn't worth it. And then those people will say, like the coaching program will say that, well, you didn't do the work. And so, of course, you don't have any result after those 3 months, right? And this is what happens to the majority of people who do a do-it-yourself course, right? And as a result, you kind of feel like, well, I didn't really get the help that I needed. Like, I've experienced this myself, by the way. I'm talking from experience here. I bought this program for $4,000, okay, up front, and then they tell me to do a bunch of stuff, and then I don't do it, and then they're like, well, you didn't do it, so you didn't get the result. But it's like, no, but I needed help to get that done. Like, there were things going on in my private life that I should have gotten help with. And every single coaching program that I've gotten, we're not willing to work on that stuff. And I'm like, what? How are you guys coaches? Well, we just tell you what to do and you need to do it. But why am I not doing it? Okay, there were blocks, there were bottlenecks that caused me to be unable to put in the 80-hour work week in their programs. As a result, not completely succeeding in those programs. Learning a bunch, right? But this is how it works though. It's not work ethic that's the problem. I can't put in the 80-hour work week. Why are you not able to put in the 80-hour work week? And this is where a consistency coach, I as a coach, or you come in for figuring out why are you unable to do the 80-hour work week. If it's just the fact that you don't want to, okay, that's the problem. We need to solve it, okay? You need to create a romantic vision for the 80-hour work week where you're like, man, I'm fired up and excited about doing the 80-hour work week, and I'm designing my daily schedule so that it will work for me. Amazing. But what if it's the fact that you want to do it, but you're incapable of doing it because of X, Y, and Z, or there's other things that are stopping you from doing it that are also important to you. In other words, you're diversified. And this is where we have a discussion and help you to figure out what is more important to you, because you can't focus on everything. By design, that means you're diversified. And if you're diversified, you're going to fail. You can't diversify with an 80-hour work week, except unless if it's 3 jobs and you actually have a special time that you're supposed to be at each of those jobs. But if you have a business and you're diversified and you don't have a proper schedule to work with, you're not going to do the work and it's not going to work for you, right? So this is what you have to figure out. The reason why you have to do the 80-hour work week is because it's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that's going to give you the experience that's going to make you successful. If you don't do the 80-hour work week, then you're not going to get enough speed to get the experience, to get people excited about your product or service, to talk to enough people that gives you enough experience in order for you to sell the thing, for you to get the profit margins, for you to be able to replace yourself so that the business can work with or without you. You're not going to be able to get there without the 80-hour work week, no matter how much you try. Okay? Some people say that you could do it with 4 hours a week. It's BS. You can't. Okay? Those guys that say that you can do that are the ones that did the 80-hour work week and they figured it out, and now they have something nice to sell you, which is the 4-hour work week, which only works for them because they've got the experience and you don't. So again, running it back, if you want to understand how all this works, you want to work with me, for example, I've got an opportunity for those that have never worked with me before. And I just need you to text me. You see down below in the description, text me on Instagram, say free. And I will most probably, okay, if you qualify, and most of you will, I'll work with you for 5 days straight, okay? 25 to 55 minutes each day, helping you to turn your situation around, give you a 5-day transformation. If you've come all the way to the end of this video and you can see this, I want to work with you. And I want to help you to see what you can be capable of doing and give you the clarity that you need to do. I just had a coaching conversation with one of my clients right now, and I was telling him about the importance of having a clear front windshield, okay? We don't want to muddy the windshield with tons and tons of mud. And the reason why is because the more clarity you have, the more you can put the pedal to the metal, okay? If it's a Lambo, it's a Ferrari, whatever, a fancy car, okay, that drives very, very fast, on the German Autobahn or whatever. You want to put the pedal to the metal if you have an emergency on the other end of that Autobahn, right? And you do. The emergency is your life. The emergency is getting to where you want to go as fast as possible. And the only reason why you are unable to put the pedal to the metal is because it would be risky and dangerous. And the reason why is because you do not have clarity. There's muddiness on the entire windshield. You can't see what the frick is going on. And if you don't have clarity, it's very risky to put the pedal to the metal. You'll probably die or get injured or someone else gets injured. And you want to put yourself in a situation where you are able to see clearly continuously the entire way until you arrive. Success is inevitable, but only if you put in the work. But you can only put in the work if you understand what's stopping you from putting in the work. And this is where I come in, or this is where this channel comes in. So if you haven't seen this channel before, I'm excited to share these thoughts with you. Continue to watch more videos, and I'm excited to see you guys again.